Hello, everyone out there in Rumble X and YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego Knows. I, of course, am Diego, and I got a lot to say now. Oh my gosh. What's going on here? What's going on with this show? Are they trying to tell me something here? They trying to make fun of me or something? You trying to make me out to be some sort of a gay ballet dancer or some crap like that? Like, what the hell? What the hell do you think you're trying to do here? Okay, you think it's supposed to, like, does someone like watch one of my videos and say, oh, let's name this guy or something, right? Huh? You think that's funny? Huh? You think, like, what the hell, dude? Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you there, okay? But see, I live in reality. I live in the world where actually men and women actually like to fuck each other. That's the world I live in, not in the world that you're in, okay? Where it's all, dick to ass and all, it's all that strap-ons and stuff like that. And everyone has to be ugly, okay? No, I don't live in that world, okay? I live in a world of very, very good-looking people, to be honest with you, okay? And hey, you're not the first person to call me gay or something, all right? So I don't care, okay? You wish I was gay. That's the truth. You wish I was gay, all right? We'll get to that, though. I'm Diego. I'm going to give you a straight, that's not straight man. That's what separates me from everybody else. I'm going to give you a straight man's point of view, and I'm not going to lie to you, okay? I'm not going to lie to you, okay? I got nothing to gain by lying to you. Okay, I'm telling you the honest God truth. Okay, I said the truth when I reviewed every episode of Sex and the City on this channel. I said the truth when I reviewed that. Okay, I'm going to say the truth right now. I'm never stop telling you the truth. Whether you like it or not, whether it pisses you off, it hurts your feelings, I don't give a fuck, okay? Someone needs to tell you the cold, hard truth, dude. And I'm going to give it to you straight up, baby, with no lube. There's no lube here. That's the way you like it. Okay, the real question, though, you got to ask yourself. Search deep inside and ask yourself, can you handle it? Can you handle the truth? Because I don't, and I know you can't. In fact, I know you can't. Okay, but you're going to get it anyway, all right? Okay, because I'm going to tell you what guys really think about this show, all right? I know the show was made for me. I get it. I don't care. I watched Sex and the City. I watched that. I reviewed every damn episode, okay? And for the most part, I enjoyed it, okay? It was crap as far as, was it realistic? Of course not. There's nothing realistic about Sex and the City, okay? You might agree 100% with the way that women act, and I'll go with you on that. I'll give you that. The women probably do act like that way in real life. I get it, okay? But the men on that show most definitely do not act that way in real life, okay? That was a load of shit. Okay, that was a load of shit. Okay, and I was actively dating women. I lived in downtown Chicago. I was actively dating women, lots of women, going to bars, going to nightclubs. I used to drink back then, and I used to smoke back then too. Going to nightclubs, going to bars, working with women, going to school with women. I lived that lifestyle. Okay, I did. Okay, and I was younger than the girls on Sex and the City. Okay. So you can imagine how hip deep I was into the dating pool, okay, of a big major city. Okay, so I understand the lifestyle, okay, and I'm telling you right now, that show was not realistic at all, and I lived through those times, okay? I was actively dating at the same time that Carrie and Samantha and Miranda and Charlotte were all dating. I was dating at the same time as they were, okay? And that's not the way it is, okay, at all, all right? But anyway, we're not talking about Sex and the City. We're talking about this abortion of a sequel series called And Just Like Crap. That is the real name. Before I continue, though, here, real quickly, because sometimes I forget, here, see that right there? Okay, right there. Okay, this right here, that is my X right there. And this here's my Rumble, okay? So you know how YouTube is. They like to cancel people. Although that's starting to change now. I know they're not coming after me. I'm small fry. I don't monetize my video. I'm not trying to sell you merch. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just trying to, the best things in life are free. And I'm just trying to pass on my experience, my knowledge, okay? I've been dating a long time, okay? Okay, I fucked a lot of women. Okay, I have. In my lifetime, I fucked a lot of women. All right? So I know what guys go for and what they don't go for. Okay, I know how guys act in certain situations and how they don't act. Okay? So that's what I'm bringing to this table here. Okay, if you want to know what a real man thinks about these women and about these situations, these dating situations, okay, I'm going to tell you the truth because that's what I do here. Okay, I'm not some gay showrunner. Okay, just trying to tell you the crap that you want to hear so you can feel better about yourself while you stuff your face with another helping of tiramisu. That's not what I am. Okay, I'm going to tell you the truth. All right, so let's get going here. Now, where I left off last time, we had Aiden and Carrie. Now, Aiden surprised Carrie by showing he hopped on a plane from Virginia and showed up at her place and surprised her. So they had sex, blah, blah, blah. All right. Her house is unfurnished. She's still trying to pick out furniture despite the fact that she moved in 2 years ago. All right. The boxes still haven't been put away. There's no furniture. There's no paintings on the wall, nothing. Okay. The house looks like a shithole. Inside it does. I mean, it's not a shithole house, but there's nothing around. There's no furniture. There's no paintings. There's no decorum. Okay. There's no interior decorating going on here. Nothing. And it's Carrie, for Christ's sake. This woman obsesses over shoes and fashion. Okay, but she can't decorate her own house. She can't even bother to hire somebody to decorate her house. This is ridiculous. She's a multi-millionaire because she earned a shitload of money after she killed her husband big. Okay, so she has nothing else to do all day, doesn't have to work ever again, doesn't have to write anything ever again. So she's just bored walking around because her boyfriend decided to put their relationship on break because he has a suicidal teenage son who he's afraid is going to kill himself if he moves to New York with Carrie. So what do you do in that situation? Do you put this kid in a hospital where you visit him regularly? Okay, so he can talk about his problems with a psychiatrist, so he can get some professional help and be watched 24/7 so he doesn't try to kill himself? No, what do? You put your relationship on break and you decide to stay in Virginia so you can have your son sleep next to you in bed every single night, okay, just in case he might try to kill himself. This is ridiculous crap. Okay, this would never fly. This would never pass the bullshit test. This is a load of shit. It's a plot contrivance. They can't afford to pay what's his name? The actor that plays Aiden, I forgot his name for some reason. John Corbett. They can't afford to pay John Corbett for every single episode. Okay, so that's why. Okay, they got to get rid of him, but still have him there. Okay, that's why they're doing this shit. All right, all the money. If you look at this show, it's really ridiculous. The production value. They spent a lot of money on this show. Okay, not on the writers. The writers suck. Okay, nothing makes sense here. Okay, for the first time, I'm starting to criticize the structure of the show as opposed to just the content. Okay, and the characters. You know, and there's no plot here. There's no overlying story. Okay, there's no way A connects to B. Okay, they show you things and then they never reference those things again. Why everyone who's ever been to film school knows damn well if you show a gun in the first act, that gun had better be fired by the third act. Okay, they're showing us all these characters spending several minutes of their runtime to introduce us to characters, to situations, to settings that go nowhere. They go absolutely nowhere. For example, the first season, remember that mathematics professor that Carrie went on 2 dates with? They threw up during one of the dates. They kept bringing him back, and for nothing. Okay, at the end of the season, she ended up fucking her goddamn producer, who had almost no screen time. They spent all this time building up this nerdy college professor who was a widow, okay, for nothing. At the end of the season, she ends up fucking one of her producers. This is ridiculous. We didn't even know his name. We didn't find out his name until next season because they spent so little time with him. You see what I mean? These things are going nowhere. These plots are going nowhere. You're introducing characters that end up going nowhere. What the fuck was Shay Diaz for the past 2 seasons? That went nowhere. She was just there to break up Miranda's marriage. And then she walks off into the sunset with a fucking Popeye the Sailor Man, but with a vagina. Okay? I guess that's their happy ending. That went nowhere. Okay? Look at Naya, the black college professor, okay? And her struggles with holding on to her husband because he wants a kid and she's too fucking old to have a kid. Blah, blah, and she doesn't really want to have a kid because she's a boss bitch. Career comes first, right? So what happens? They break up. He ends up fucking a white girl and gets her pregnant. Okay? So we're dealing with her emotional insecurity and her sluttiness and then what the fuck happened? What about her? Nothing. She met a Michelin chef. And that's it. We're never going to see her again. That went nowhere. She actually had her own plot. There was actually episodes with storylines that focused on just her and nobody else that had never happened before on Sex and the City or in Just Like That. They actually focused on the lives of a side character. Okay? I remember that very well. What the fuck? This is the first time we're focusing scenes on just this side character who's not one of the original 3? And they did, and it went nowhere. It went nowhere. Why the fuck do we need to see any of her dates? Why do we need to see that? It went nowhere. They did nothing with the character. They just wasted time. You start to see the pattern here? They're just wasting time. Okay, they already had a black girl on the show, Lisa Todd Wexley, who is basically a black version of Charlotte. Okay? Only she dresses even worse. I call her fucking Kaleidoscope Lisa. That's what she looks like, a fucking kaleidoscope. That's what she is, a fucking kaleidoscope that likes to wear fucking testicles around her neck. Okay? That's all she is. Okay? She's another piece of shit. Okay? Who they dumbed down in this episode. Okay? Now, Charlotte was already dumb, but they super dumbed her down in this episode. Now she's acting like she's in fucking Three's Company or something, you know? Just, oh my God, we got it. You know, like that. Like she's fucking Lucille Ball or some shit. It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. How am I supposed to take this show seriously? You know, Sex and the City used to balance the drama between the comedy. Okay? You could have comedy. Okay? But it needed to make sense. Okay? It needed to make sense. This doesn't make fucking sense. They spent so much money on scenes. In this episode alone, can you imagine how much money they spent? There's a scene where Lisa goes to the private school, okay, where her son goes, right? And goes onto the football field. Okay, and the kids are running. She bumps into them and shit. They're telling her, get out of the way, old lady, that kind of thing. The coach is there. The whole lacrosse team is there just to tell her son, hey, Herbert Jr., come over here. I got to tell you something. And he's like, Mom, you're embarrassing me. Okay, that scene lasted about 30 seconds. Okay, and they had to pay everybody in that scene. They had to hire a whole crew. They had to provide lunch for everybody. They had to do the sound, the editing. Okay, the location they closed down the location so they could. You know how much money that costs for a scene that lasts like 30 seconds? You know, you see what I mean? This show keeps jumping around from these locations to locations, and I'm like, wow, how much money does it cost? How much money does it cost to shoot there? To shoot in front of the New York Ballet, just for a fucking 1 minute scene? You know, just to shoot in downtown New York. You know, for a conversation. I mean, it's got to cost a lot of money. All right, just to go into a nightclub, just to shut down a street in the middle of the night in New York so that Carrie can walk across the street in her tight dress. I mean, that's got to cost money, you know? And for what? For a scene that lasts like 20 seconds? Like, what the fuck, man? Where's all this money coming from? The last time I checked, HBO Max was owned by Discovery, Warner Discovery, okay? And they're running out of money, okay? They're about to file for bankruptcy, okay? They're going to sell off some of their assets. They're going to sell off Warner Brothers. Okay, especially if the new Superman movie flops. Okay, so it's like, you know, they're not doing good financially. Why are they wasting so much money on this shit? It makes no sense. HBO Max is not a leader in streaming. Netflix is still the king of streaming. Okay, they blow everybody away. HBO Max, Disney Plus, Hulu, all that gets blown away next to Netflix. Okay, it makes no sense. Anyway, moving around along. All right, so Aiden and Carrie are talking, blah blah blah. Okay, about his son, because he's got to stay with his son or else his son might commit suicide. It's a bullshit plot device. Okay, so Carrie tells Aiden that what she's trying to do with this relationship with him is she's trying to look underneath this 5-year absent relationship to try to find out, the way she didn't check underneath the bushes of her backyard, if you want to call it a yard. It's like a deck. Okay, but she had bushes there. There's a lot of rats in there. It scared the shit out of her. In the last video I made, it scared the shit out of her. So she hired an exterminator and she hired some landscapers to clear out all the shrubbery. Okay, because that's where that rats were living. They were nesting under there. So now she has no plants back there, and she hates it because she liked the plants. She liked the bushes. You know, she liked all that stuff. Okay, the flowers, whatever. Okay, and now it's all gone because they had to get rid of it. So now she has to hire a gardener to come in and replant everything. Okay, and you know, she had to clear everything out. All right, and she had to hire a pest control. Okay, an exterminator to make sure the rats don't come back. All right, so that's going on here. And she says she's trying to look underneath their relationship. Okay, and Aang says, you know what I really want to hear, Carrie, is I want to hear about that gardener that you hired to fuck you when I'm gone. I mean, to re-landscape your garden out there. And then all of a sudden, they don't talk about that, okay? They just don't talk about that. Next scene, yeah, I know, foreshadowing, right? Next scene, it's not the first time Carrie would have cheated on him. Next scene, Miranda's watching that lesbo dating show. It's called Bi Bingo, and by bi I mean it's a lesbo show because you don't see any men on there. It's all a bunch of women in their 20s who talk about fucking each other and relationships. How the fuck do you try to find a relationship when you're fucking men and women at the same time? Are the men also fucking men and women at the same time? Because they don't show any men on the cell phone when they're watching this fucking episode. So, what the fuck? Is it just for the women? Is it just bisexual bingo? Or is it just a bunch of lesbian bullshit? Is that what it is? Because that's kind of what I think it is. All right? Okay, bisexual just code for fucking being gay. All right. Anyway, reality show on her phone, okay, and she's yelling at the phone while she's stuffing her fucking fat ass face like she always does, screaming at the phone, "You can't be doing that! She's gonna come by you!" Like that, okay, like the ugly fucking pig that she is. That's Miranda, by the way, and she's doing this at work. Right, she's got her little corner office there, and that's what she's doing on her lunch break. She's watching this reality show and yelling at her phone. Okay, next scene. Carrie decides to hire, she looks on her phone, she finds a guy named Adam Gardens. She looks at some of the work that he did. I guess he did like a porch or a deck or something. She Snapchats, takes a picture of that, and decides that she's gonna hire him, okay? Okay, and then she goes to playing. While she's doing that, she's playing with her cat. Get it? You get it? She's playing with her cat. You get the subtext here, what they're trying to tell you? While she's looking up another guy's business named Adam Gardens, she's playing with her cat. Get it? You fucking get it? Kind of fucking hits you right in the face, doesn't it, right? Kind of like when Miranda was looking at that reality show. She was watching those girls while she was dipping her tea bag in her cup. Remember that? Okay, yeah, very subtle. Like, if you blink, you'll miss it, right? Anyway, so that's going on. Carrie decides to text Aiden, and by texting, I mean she speaks into her phone and provides the pronunciation when leaving a message would be just as good. I mean, last time I checked, messages do work. Okay, you can just leave a voice message. I mean, last time I checked, that worked. When you text something, you don't want to text a short story, okay? Just text like a few sentences at most, okay? But that she's actually texting while talking to her phone, providing the punctuation, the commas, and all. It's just ridiculous, all right? Anyway, so she texts Aiden about whether or not to buy a table, okay? So there's a table that she wants to buy, okay? And she's texting Aiden whether or not she should buy the table because it's so us, it's kind of like out there and weird like we are, but yet it's homely like you are, but it's modern like I am, and that kind of shit, about a goddamn table, which makes no fucking sense. Carrie, what the fuck, okay? It's your fucking house. It's not his house. If you want the fucking table, get the fucking table. It's not like he fucking lives with you. He ain't gonna fucking live with you for another 5 fucking years. What the fuck does it matter if he likes the table or not? It's your fucking table. It's your fucking house. God damn. Anyway, so Aiden, Aiden doesn't even fucking live there, and the house looks like a shithole. So just buy your goddamn furniture. You've been taking too long to fucking do it anyway. All right, so of course, the next scene is they're at a restaurant, okay, to have lunch. Like they always eat at a restaurant for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We know that. It's been like that since the beginning of Sex and the City. Anyway, so they're at a restaurant, of course, because none of them know how to cook. Okay, and she has to bitch about Aiden to Seema and Miranda. Okay, she's gonna bitch about Aiden to them about that table. Okay, because apparently Aiden did respond to the text. He responded with a thumbs down. That was his response to whether or not they should get the fucking, whether Carrie should buy the table. Like, what does it fucking matter whether he likes the table or not? It's your fucking table. It's your fucking money. It's your fucking house. You're the one living in there. He ain't living there. So what the fuck? It's not. It should be a non-issue, but they contrived an entire plot over this. This makes no fucking sense. This is my fucking place. You see those fucking pictures I have up there? They're there because I want them there. And I don't give a shit if my girlfriend likes them or not. They're fucking there anyway. You see what I mean? Because she don't fucking live here. I do. Just like I don't go to her fucking place and tell her, get that fucking Van Gogh off the wall. I don't like Van Gogh. You should talk to me first before you put that up there. You see what I mean? I don't do that shit. You see what I mean? And I like the fact that it's reciprocated. What does it fucking matter? You don't fucking live there. By the God, you can't write a story about this. This is stupid. You're just trying to find a way to fucking make Aiden look bad. Make Aiden look insensitive. Make Aiden look like he doesn't care about you, Carrie. Why? So you can fucking cheat on him later. Okay? It's the same shit they fucking did with Big back in the 2000s when she was cheating on Aiden with Big. They made him so focused on redoing her floors of her apartment and breaking down her walls that she got so annoyed with him that she couldn't help but go to a hotel where she just happened to go run into Big and have sex with him. You see what I mean? This is bullshit. All right. Anyway, okay, so Seema starts talking, okay. Seema's sitting there, okay, like the fat fucking pig that she is. Or she is a pig. I mean, seriously, Seema's disgusting. I mean, there's nothing attractive about her. Not her face, not her body, not her attitude, not her smoking habit, not her wit, nothing. Okay, she's a disgusting fucking pig. That's what Seema is, all right? Anyway, she looks like a fucking 59-year-old pig because that's what she is. Okay, and she's bragging, and while I'm looking at her pigginess, she's bragging about all the guys that she's fucked in New York. okay, how there's only 5 guys in New York and she has dated them all. You know? Okay, yeah. She did leave out the 6th guy. Okay, and the 6th guy is a guy like me who would look right at her and be like, and fucking run away. Okay, that's the 6th guy, but she hasn't dated that guy yet. Okay, because that guy's gonna avoid her. Okay, and that's mostly what New York is. Okay, and most straight guys in general. Okay, anyway, but she talks about the 5 guys, all right, which is kind of sad. Okay, but don't you realize, Seema, that when you make fun of those 5 guys, when you make fun of men like that, okay, you're making fun of the small population of men that actually will fuck you. You're making fun of them. Do you realize that leaves you with nothing? Do you not understand that? Okay, if some short fucking bald midget who lives in his mom's basement and works at McDonald's asks you out, you need to fucking jump for joy. Because realistically, that's all you're gonna fucking get. Anyway. And it's weird that she broke down the men into 5 categories when I just told you there's 6. Because there's only 3 categories of women that are on this show. You've got old and ugly. You've got old, ugly, and gay. And then you've got just ugly and gay. Okay, those are the 3 categories of the women that are on this show. So I'm going to match your 5 categories, when there's really 6, with my 3 categories, which is really true. All right, anyway. So this ugly waitress, see what I mean? This ugly waitress arrives, okay, and she's a fan of that reality show, Buy Bingo. That's the name of the show, Buy Bingo. Now Miranda's obsessed with that show. I told you, by bi, I mean it's lesbians. Okay, there's no men on there. They talk about the women dating the men, but there's no fucking men on there. Can you imagine that show? Okay, where the guys are talking about like, oh, you know what? And I mean, I love Samantha, but God damn it, Greg's got a big dick, and I just can't escape it. You see what I mean? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that being on there? No, they're not going to go there. You know why? Because it's for fucking lesbians. Because fucking Cynthia Nixon's a fucking lesbian now. Okay, so everything's got to be fucking lesbian. Everything's got to be a fucking pride parade for her ugly ass. Have you even seen Cynthia Nixon's wife? Okay, that fucking bitch looks like fucking Titan from fucking Megamind. Stop looking at this video right now. Pull up your fucking phone and Google fucking Titan from Megamind. Okay, that is Cynthia Nixon's husband. Wife, wherever the fuck it is. God damn. And she should be telling me about dating problems? Oh, fuck you. Oh, God. God. You treat Steve like shit, but this guy actually dated you. Like, he actually wanted to marry you. And you act like you're above him? Fuck you. Anyway. Okay, so apparently this ugly waitress, of course, because all the women are ugly. Okay, she's a fan of Buy Bingo. That's the show with no men. Okay, and she's also addicted to the show just like Miranda is. So they start talking about characters on the show, like, how can Jamie have horrible taste in men and women? That's what Miranda says, okay? Well, how the fuck can you have horrible taste in men and women? You know why? Because you are horrible taste. Any guy that would fuck you, Cynthia Nixon, is horrible taste. Okay? Just like nobody voted for you when you ran for governor of fucking New York. Yeah, right? You think I forgot that? Because nobody likes your ass, because you're a piece of shit. You think you're fucking this, you think there's this incredible, freaking smart, popular person. You're just a piece of shit. That's all you are. You represent the worst values of the fucking liberal Democratic Party. Okay? The absolute worst. You're no better than fucking Jimmy Kimmel or fucking Jeffrey Epstein. Okay? You're just a piece of shit. A piece of shit who thinks you're right about everything. Okay? That's why you're old, ugly, and fucking alone. Anyway. So that's going on here. Okay. Yeah, so Miranda says, I can't look away. I've discovered the joy of hate watching. Wow, you think they just accidentally put that in there? No. You're trying to troll us. Okay, the show is trying to make fun of us, the guys that actually watch the show. Okay, they've done this a lot. Hollywood's done this a lot. You remember there was a show on Marvel called She-Hulk. Okay, and She-Hulk, I'm a big comic book fan. Okay, I grew up reading comic books. I never read She-Hulk, it just wasn't my thing. But I do remember that a lot of my friends did read it, and they liked it. They liked it a lot. It was very funny. She-Hulk was very sexy. She talked to the reader. She would look at the reader and talk to them while doing the episodes, while doing the comic book. So it had its fan base. Okay, so when they announced they were going to make a She-Hulk show on Disney Plus, some comic book guys were excited about it. Oh, wow, we're finally going to get to see She-Hulk. Blah, blah, blah. Well, I actually watched a couple episodes of it, and all it was making fun of men. All it was making fun of comic book nerds. straight, white, Christian men. That's all it was making fun of. Okay, guys that would rather fucking read comic books or play video games than go date a girl. Okay? That's all the show did, is it made fun of men like that. Incels. Call them incels. You're incels with little dicks living in your mom's basement, eating Doritos, getting fat, you're unattractive, you're short, you're bald, all these things, okay? Making fun of all of them. That's all the show did. It just made fun of white guys, okay? Now, the ratings on that show completely fucking sucked. Now, why was that? At the end of the season, you actually find out that the bad guys were a group of, guess what? Short, white, Christian, straight incels who can't get laid. Okay, so they're all a bunch of nerds. Okay, they can't get laid. They all live in their mom's basement. Okay, that was the evil guys that She-Hulk had to fight at the end for the season. Okay, now let me tell you something. Is that true? Yes. Okay. I mean, like I said, I was a nerd when I was a kid. I read comic books. I didn't play sports. My mom wouldn't let me play sports. I got bullied a lot. Okay. Yes, I was scared of girls when I was a teenager, when I was a preteen, all that kind of stuff. Okay. I wore glasses, the works, you name it. Okay. I got bullied, all that kind of stuff. But my escape was comic books. I loved comic books. I spent money on comic books. Okay. The little bit of money I made from working at the ice cream store, every Wednesday I'd be at the comic book store buying new comics. Okay, because that was my escape from reality. Okay, I loved those comic books. I loved those superheroes. I loved reading about them. This is decades before they started making all those movies. Marvel started making all those movies. Okay, this is back when I was a kid. Okay, and I spent my money on that. Okay, now there's other nerds out there like me that spend their money on Star Wars or Dungeons and Dragons or whatever it is. Okay, this is what they do for escapism. Okay, they live in a fantasy world. They would rather, read about Star Wars or play video games or read comic books or watch anime than live real life, okay? Because for them, real life is hard. It's scary. They've been bullied. They've been made fun of. They have no self-esteem. They have no social skills. So what do? They play their video games. That's what they spend their money on, okay? That's your fan base. That's your core demographic. Those are the people that love the IP, okay? Those are the guys that watch the fucking superhero TV shows, okay? It's guys, not guys like me, okay? I've learned social skills since then, all right? Okay, but I still enjoy the occasional nerdy stuff. I still do. I mean, I'm still a fucking nerd at heart. I mean, Christ, look at this, dude. I mean, look, I still got my fucking, display here. But the point is that guys that don't have social skills, okay, guys that don't have girlfriends, that have a hard time getting a girl to like them, okay, this is what they spend their money on. They spend their money on Star Wars. They spend their money on Dungeons and Dragons. They spend their money on Transformers. They spend their money on superheroes, okay? Because that's what gives them pleasure. That's what gives them joy, okay? And this show, She-Hulk, was making fun of all those guys, okay? Making fun of them. Like they were all pieces of shit because they were criticizing the show. Because She-Hulk was acting like a slut, which she didn't act like that in the comic book, okay? She was demeaning men. She was making fun of men, okay? She was emasculating every fucking guy. Okay, it was just like this show. All the men were weak. They're all beta males. They're all evil, stupid, or cowards. Okay, the same thing that She-Hulk did, and the writers were all making fun of men. Okay, and I'm like, dude, why would you make fun of your demographic? Okay, why would you do that? These are the people that spend money. You want to know why Star Wars is about to go bankrupt? Why nobody's watching the Marvel movies anymore? Because they've been making fun of us. They've been making fun of the very people that are the ones that actually spent their money on this shit. Okay, you cannot insult your fan base. You cannot insult your customer base. When you insult your customers, they go away. Okay? When you make fun of your viewers, they quit watching. Okay, the reason people complain about this show is because they love the show. They love Sex and the City, and they want this show to get better. And they're pointing out the differences. They're pointing out what they don't like. The same thing that I'm doing here. I'm pointing out what I don't like about this fucking show. And rather than take my criticism and be like, okay, maybe we have steered away. Maybe we need to correct course and go back to what made Sex and the City popular again. Let's go back to that instead of everything being fucking, Black History Month and pride parades. Maybe we need to go in and making fun of men. Maybe we need to go into, maybe going back to what made us work. Okay. The friendships. Okay. The funny guys. Okay. That kind of thing. The quips. And we have none of that here. Okay? We have all these plot lines, all these storylines that are going nowhere, that go off into oblivion. Okay? You introduce characters that we're never going to see again. You give them screen time, and they're completely inconsequential to the show. You hire pieces of shit like Samantha Irby. Look her up, too, while you're at it. Look up Samantha Irby. She's one of the writers on the show. Okay, just look. One look at that fucking ugly face of hers is all you need to know about why this show sucks. Right there. All right. So yeah, so of course Miranda points out that she's hate watching now. Of course she's hate watching. She's making fun of us. Anyway, I mean, I don't care. But anyway, so Seema says, you know, I'm hate dating men. I'm hate dating with men. So now Seema's getting all on her high horse here, on her fucking pedestal, because Seema is better than every man that ever fucking existed. Okay, she's so high up there that no man can even see her, much less touch her. That's how high class she is. That's how high value she thinks she is. Okay, despite the fact that she looks like a fucking pig, she thinks she's fucking high value. Okay, she thinks she's fucking Sydney Sweeney. She thinks she's some fucking sexy model or something that men are all fucking dying to fucking fuck. Okay? No, she's an unattractive 59-year-old or 60-year-old. I don't know which, but one of them. Look up her birthday. She was born in 66. Okay? She's either 59 or she's fucking 60 years old. Okay? She's butt ugly, but she acts like she's the hottest thing in the whole fucking room. Get the fuck out of here. You're more deluded than Samantha. Samantha knew, in some sense, she knew she wasn't all that. Okay? But she acted like she was. Okay? This girl, Seema, she really thinks she's all that. She really, really believes it. Okay? All you gotta do is compare her to any fucking average looking girl and you'll see how ugly Seema is. But she thinks she's a fucking catch. She thinks that men would be fucking happy just to fucking lick her shit. Okay? Like she's nothing. I wouldn't even fucking date her. She's a fucking pig. Anyway, so we see a montage of her, a fat, ugly, stuck-up Seema, the pig, okay, in a bar listening to men trying to flirt with her. They're talking about themselves, okay? And she immediately profiles all of them, okay, all the men, and she profiles them correctly. For example, she says, no, Wolf, you're doing this, and you're doing this, and you're not really broken up with your wife. You're going to get back with her. You're going to do that about 10 minutes after you tell me that you love me, okay? And your real name is not Wolf. It's really like Stan or Dan. He's like, it's Dan. Like that, like a piece of shit fucking idiot. like a guy like that would even fucking talk to her. Jesus fucking Christ, okay? That's going on. There's this guy who's talking about his MBA that he got. He's a professor or something. She's like, oh, I know your type already. You're a professional student. Are you really looking for some mommy to read you a bedtime story and tuck you in? Like that. He's just like what the fuck? Anyway. Okay, yeah, so that's going on here, okay. She actually sucks for her. Now, this actually sucks for her because these men that she's rejecting, that she's humiliating, that she's emasculating, okay, these are the only guys that actually would consider fucking her. Okay, they're actually the only guys that would consider sticking their dick in a pig. Okay, and out of that small percentage of men, she rejects them. So what happens when you reject that small percentage that actually does like to fuck ugly? Yeah, exactly. You're going to end up with nobody. Nobody. Okay? Okay. So that's happening, okay? And she doesn't also, there is something she doesn't mention during this. She doesn't mention all the men that walked into that bar, because it's the same bar, it's the same restaurant, every scene. Okay? She does not mention all the men that actually walked into that restaurant, got a good look at her, and turned the fuck around and walked out the fucking door. Okay? She doesn't mention those guys. Okay? I wonder why. Oh, yeah, that's why, because that's the sixth type of guy in New York, okay? And she doesn't know about that because she's never fucked that before. That's a guy that actually has fucking standards and taste and respects himself. He doesn't want to be seen with a fucking animal. All right. Anyway, so that's going around, okay? You know, and I'm going to tell you something, Seema, right now. That guy that fucking walked in there, looked at you and walked away, he also profiled you. He just did it a lot fucking quicker. All right, moving right along. Okay, she's making fun of everybody there. Okay, blah, 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 all that shit I said. Okay, and then finally a guy sits in front of her, of course, who looks just like Ravi. He's older, gray hair. He's got the scarf that's also surgically attached to his neck. So she looked with the open collar. She looks at him, she goes, nope, and walks out of there. Okay, like she's the one that does rejecting. Like no one's ever rejected her, right? Get the fuck out of here. This is ridiculous. Okay, this is cope. Okay, this is fucking nothing but cope. Okay, a lot of women, especially the women that write this show. Look at Samantha Irby, the writer of this episode. Okay, she writes a lot of episodes for this show. Okay, she is a disgusting pig as well. Okay, only she wears glasses. Okay, I'm talking the Drew Carey's. Okay, the BC glasses. Okay, the birth control glasses, because you'll never get laid wearing them. She wears those. Okay, a woman like that is going to have a very difficult time, okay, of finding an attractive, rich, exciting, healthy man, intelligent man, okay, to go out with her. So what does she do? Okay, in her fantasy world, she writes down where she's the hottest thing in the world, and she's the one that rejects the men. They don't reject her. You see what I mean? She's deluded into thinking that she is the high value one in this relationship. She's not the fucking prize. She thinks she's the prize. You're not the prize, okay? You are the leftover, okay? You are nothing. You have nothing that we want, Seema. You have absolutely nothing that any man wants. Okay, and the show is too fucking stupid to realize that. You're butt fucking ugly. You got a horrible fucking attitude. Okay, you dress like fucking shit. I know it's expensive, okay, but you dress like shit. Okay, and that's the truth. Okay, no guy wants to be around you. I mean, the way she walks like she thinks she's fucking Marilyn Monroe or something. Like, who the fuck you think you are, Greta Garbo? I mean, what the fuck? You were nowhere near that league, and that was like fucking 80 years ago. Okay, no. Seema's just a disgusting piece of shit that thinks she's all that. They're trying to replace Samantha. Samantha was that way, but Samantha actually had charisma. Okay, that's what Seema does not have. Samantha had charisma, and she was well written. She always has something funny to say. She always has something that related to sex. Okay, her mind was in the gutter 24/7. Okay, now she's a pathetic character, and in the long term, exactly, she's going to end up just like Seema. But the point is that actually there was actually something affable about Samantha. Okay, which is why we liked watching her. We liked hearing her talk. We liked watching her react to situations, because one thing that Samantha had that Seema does not have is self-confidence. Okay, Seema pretends she's overcompensating for the fact that she's insecure. She acts like a boss bitch because she deep down inside, she knows that she's unattractive. She knows that she fucking can't get men. So what does she do? She rejects the men first. Okay, that way she can feel better about herself before they reject her. Because that's basically what's going to happen. Okay, any desperate guy, okay, who hasn't had sex in 5 years or something, who can't get laid, he will fuck Seema, but after he's had that, he's going to fucking leave her and fucking never see her again. And she fucking knows that. Okay, so what does she do? She rejects him before that even happens. Okay, and that's just a form of cope. Samantha didn't have to do that. Okay, Samantha was just a fucking fuck me, now get the fuck out. That's what Samantha was. Okay, that was her character. Okay. She actually had high self-esteem, despite the fact that there was nothing about her that warranted it. It was funny to watch a woman who thinks she's hot shit, okay, when she's really not. That to me was very entertaining about Samantha. Okay, there's a woman who's clearly over the hill, clearly past her prime, okay, but yeah, she thought she was a goddess. Okay, she thought that she was the hottest thing in the world. Okay, and to me that was funny. That was hilarious to watch Samantha do that. Seema does not have the charisma, okay? And she doesn't have the self-confidence either. Do you really think fucking Samantha would have fucking looked at her empty bed and just like and start crying? No. Only one time did she ever cry about that, and that was like in the first season where she got sick or something, and no guys would come over to help her, okay, move something because they just wanted her for sex, and she cried about it, and then she got over it real quick. So no. That would never fucking happen. Okay? That's the difference. They're trying to replace Samantha with Seema. It's not going to fucking happen. Seema is nowhere near. She's even uglier than Samantha, believe it or not. And her personality is even worse. I mean, it's disgusting. Okay? She doesn't just fucking fuck guys and dump them. Okay? She just rejects them before they fuck her over. And she acts like she's the boss bitch. Okay? Like she's being picky. Okay? Like no man meets her standards. Okay? You know what? You know what kind of standards a guy would have to fuck you? None. Your standards are up here. A guy that fucks you, his standards are way fucking down there. And that's the fucking truth. Okay? And if it wasn't a bunch of fucking gay guys making these fucking episodes, a straight guy could easily point that out. There's no straight guy involved in this fucking show. Not at all, because they don't want to get their feelings hurt. It's fucking bullshit, man. Anyway, okay, I'm losing my shit. All right, so anyway, real quickly here, let's finish up this scene here. So she rejects Ravi, and the next scene, we've got this butt-ugly British lesbian boss bitch named Joy. Now, we met her at the end of season 2. That's the lesbo, the ugly ginger lesbo. No, not just Miranda ain't the only one that Miranda runs into, okay, at the end of season 2. She went somewhere, I don't remember what it was, and she ran her. They started talking. It looked like they were going to start fucking each other. They didn't, apparently, obviously, because she probably lives in the UK. But now she's here visiting, you know, at the woke company. She works for a woke company, so she's coming to visit another woke company. Runs into Miranda. They already met each other last season, so they start talking, okay? She's just another clone of Miranda, only British, okay? She's another butt ugly, over the hill lesbian who thinks she's all that, bossing people around, knows everything about everything, a fucking libtard, whatever, making fun of the United States, that kind of shit, even though we bailed you out of all the world wars, okay? So she's there, okay, and her name is Joy, of course it is. Get it? Because she's a lesbian, therefore she brings joy. Okay. Now she immediately wants to know about Miranda's sex life. Okay, which even I don't want to know about. I've already seen it. Okay, and I can't describe this horrific small talk because it's so fucking terrible. It just goes nowhere. She talks about shit like the anti. This is like nobody knows how to write in this fucking show. Who the fuck wrote the dialogue between these two? It's fucking. What's the word for it? It's very Oh, there's a word for this. I can't even think of it right now. Okay, it's when you watch something and it's just like it makes no sense and it kind of makes you sick to watch it. And you don't want to watch it, but you kind of have to. That's what this is. Okay, and she's there and she's talking about Antichrist and would the Antichrist have a window that small and would it be that dirty and what does the Antichrist want to have lunch at and just stupid shit like that. Okay, it's like they're trying to flirt with each other, but this is not the way human beings flirt. Okay, this is the way fucking bad TV show writers write. Okay. So that's going on here. All right. And more than one window, a business is off everywhere. It's just disgusting. Anyway, so I'm going to stop it right here because I'm losing my shit. I will be back shortly to continue my review of And Just Like Crap, Season 3, Episode 2, The Rat Race. That is the name of the episode. Okay. Thank you very much for watching this long, and I'll see you soon in the next one. Bye.